Welcome to Traveling Towards Wealth, the podcast where money meets adventure and freedom is always on the horizon. I'm Sarah Jones, financial coach, full-time traveler, houseplant lover, sourdough baker, and your guide to building a life that's as rich in experiences as it is in peace of mind. Each month, we dive into a new theme, whether it's real money stories, the ins and outs of full-time travel, building a business or multiples while on the road, or finding wellness and simplicity wherever you are. Here, you'll get practical tips, honest conversations, and a gentle push to spend, save, and live according to your values, not someone else's rules. If you're ready to design a life you truly love, one where you can travel more, stress less, build financial confidence, shop safer, and wake up every day feeling like you're exactly where you're meant to be, then you're in the right place. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's start traveling towards wealth, one story at a time. Hello, friend. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to talk to you about something that I have never heard another full-timer talk about. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this just in general. And so I wanted to just share my experience with you because I think this is such an important piece and such a huge piece of full-time life that people are experiencing, but nobody's talking about it. And it is near and dear to me. But one thing that I have noticed in this full-time travel, and I've been aware of it for a while, but it isn't really up until probably the past 6 or 7 months that I've become really aware of it. It's become a major thing for me, right? Something that I really wanted to address. And I'm talking about nervous system dysregulation. For me, I've heard about people talking about nervous system dysregulation in a lot of different areas, and it has always felt vague, and I never felt like they spoke about it in a way that really resonated with me. I've mentioned this before on some other episodes, but I have lived most of my life in fight or flight. I have lived most of my life in this, just with this anxiety of always on edge, always in a hurry to get things done or to get where we're going to. I don't walk just leisurely. It's always on purpose and moving. Reading my book, I noticed this morning that I was always trying to read as quick as possible to get through it. When we're traveling, it's always just the anxiety just is always there. And I just find myself always thinking, why can't we just get there? And my word of the year is present because I've noticed that I just wasn't feeling real present in most interactions, most situations that I have been in. Traveling, with talking with people, even a morning walk, my workouts, I just wasn't feeling like I was actually present in the moment. It was always, my brain is always going ahead. My brain is always thinking about how quick can I get this done? How many more minutes do I have left before I can move on to the next thing? That's a lot of dysregulation. And again, like the fight or flight, just always having this pit in your stomach feeling, right? This anxiety, this nervousness of just feeling like you can't relax. I just felt like there's this like guilty feeling for sitting down and taking some time like in the sun and to read. If I just want to sit and watch a show, like this feeling of laziness and guilt comes over me tremendously. And a lot of that stems back to nervous system dysregulation. And for me, when I started digging into this a little bit more, I was noticing that I was working out very consistently, very intentionally, lifting heavy weights, getting the cardio in, eating pretty clean, watching my protein intake, my water, all the things, and not losing weight. Still waking up like really bloated in the morning, feeling like I can't remember really a time consistently that I've slept well. I have very vivid, really terrible, violent dreams. Wake up consistently in the middle of the night multiple times. It's just like you're awake and then you're just awake. There's no going back to sleep, right? And so I would get up and I would read or do whatever. So you put all these things together, and I was like, what the heck is going on? What is happening to me? Because your body really starts to feel it, your mind starts to feel it. The spirals, right? The spirals start to happen. All the negative talk really starts to take hold. You become somebody that you don't want to be. And I was just tired of being in that place. Yes, there are some coaches out there, but I wanted to take a little bit of a different approach to look at what's really causing this dysregulation currently. Let me just say what's causing it currently, what has caused it in the past, and then what are some things that I can do to help become more regulated? What are some things that I can do consistently, no matter where we're at and what's going on? I can work on regulating my nervous system. And I want to give you a little bit. Now, I am not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. This is just my own experience. And from the research that I've done, this is what I have come up with. All right. So I want to be real clear on that. Don't come at me if I say something that might not be completely true, because this is my experience based on the research. And this is my belief based on the research and my experience that I've had. But regulating my nervous system involves several pieces, and that's looking at the parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of what takes over at night. And this is the part of your system that says you're safe, you can rest, you don't have to worry. This is the very high level overview, right? So it's the part that, the way I look at it, it's the part that just kind of gets rid of the anxiety and says, listen, you can rest now. You're going to be fine. Everything is fine. And your parasympathetic nervous system needs to have that option. It needs to feel safe, because that's when your healing happens. They say get 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night, but nobody really tells you why. They say, oh, your body needs rest. That rest comes from your parasympathetic nervous system resetting, really resting, shutting down for a while to give the other systems in your body a chance to heal and to work. And when your parasympathetic nervous system is dysregulated, when it is always active, especially during the night, then what happens is your cortisol is being released all the time. This is fight or flight. So you've got cortisol being released. You have more insulin build up in your body. You have less growth hormones being released, because your body's, nope, we can't do any of that, because we're tight and we're afraid and we're not safe. And that's why that's happening, right? And then when you wake up in the morning, then your sympathetic nervous system kind of takes hold, right? Your When your parasympathetic nervous system rests at the night, your sympathetic nervous system then takes over, right? And then in the morning, your sympathetic nervous system kind of rests, and then your parasympathetic nervous system kind of takes over. And it's that doesn't mean that you are not safe anymore, but it just means, okay, now's the time for action. Now's the time that we're moving. We're not necessarily healing. And now's the time that we're expending a lot of energy, right? I hope this is making some sense. Long story short, that's the area that I chose to focus on first in this whole healing journey. And some of the things, let me even take a step back, because I want to talk about what I noticed in what was causing some of the dysregulation to begin with. So I could go back forever. Like I said, I've lived in fight or flight. I don't remember a time that I haven't been in that. So from a very early on age, I've always had this anxiety, always this nervousness going on. With traveling, what I've noticed, and this is the part that nobody ever talks about in RV travel, in that if your nervous system is dysregulated, when you are traveling, you are changing time zones, you are changing climates, elevations, your direction that you're sitting, your front door when you open it is facing a different direction. It really affects your circadian rhythm. And think about when time change happens, how off you feel, how weird things feel because the time changed, because daylight savings time started or ended, right? And the time change happened and your body's whoa, and you're really tired and maybe you feel a little anxious. It takes you a while to catch up. You're feeling behind. For full-time RV travel, that literally happens every time you're moving. And it doesn't think about when time change happens, how long it takes your body to get regulated to that. Now, if you are experienced with regulating your nervous system, you can do it and it's fine. But if you're not, which most people are not, it takes a while, right? Same thing happens with full-time travel. Same thing happens here. And think about this, just the direction that you're parked, how you're the the direction that your windows are facing, your front door. So when you open your door, when you live in a sticks and bricks home, you open your front door and you're always facing east or you're always facing north, right? The sun always comes up and sets in kind of the same direction. So you have this sense of like familiarity, this sense of this peacefulness, this safeness, because all is quote unquote well. But with traveling and moving, our front door faces a different direction all the time. The sun comes up and sets. Yes, I know it comes up in the east and it sets in the west. I understand that. But in relation to how we're parked, it is different, right? It's different. It's like you don't have a true north, right? Everything feels, you feel discombobulated. You don't know, there's no sense of direction, right? That is very unsettling for your nervous system. So that's what I've been noticing more recently, right? And there are some other things, but those really with traveling. And then you add on the grocery store, you don't know where the grocery store is. The streets are always going in a different direction, right? You're just you're in a new location all the time, and that can throw your body into dysregulation pretty darn quickly. And I was not experienced with regulating it, and so I've lived with this, and my body just is like, whoa, hold on a second, we're literally barely surviving here. That's why when I was working out, I wasn't losing any weight, still not a lot of muscle development. I was just putting more stress on my body at that time because my nervous system was so dysregulated. So went into doing the research, and there are a lot of modalities. There's a lot of things that different people teach. I'm going to start incorporating more to help reduce cortisol, to help regulate nervous system. But a couple of things that I have been doing that have been extremely life-changing for me has been every night using frankincense essential oil, pure frankincense essential oils right behind my ears. Your vagus nerve runs back behind your ears, and your vagus nerve is the pathway to your nervous system. And so frankincense oils, essential oils, have a lot of healing properties to them. And I will tell you, I have been doing that for probably about 6 weeks now, somewhere around 6 weeks. Life changing, absolutely life changing, without a doubt. I am falling asleep easier. I have much less anxiety, especially anxiety at night. My brain is not going 100 miles an hour like it used to. I am sleeping more deeply. If I wake up which I've had so many nights where I'm not really even waking up at night. But if I wake up at night, I'm really back to sleep very quickly. I'm waking up in the morning, and I wouldn't necessarily say feeling really refreshed, but not feeling as exhausted as I was before. I'm not bloated when I wake up in the morning. So I'm actually waking up, and it doesn't seem to matter what I've eaten the night before. I'm not waking up bloated in the morning. That alone is completely life-changing for me. During this time, I did stop going to the gym. I did stop working out. I really wanted to test this out to see if it was really helping me. And I will tell you it was, but I wanted to not put more stress on my body. My goal is to reduce the stress on my body, not to continue. Will I add exercise back in? I absolutely will, but I have some more work to do in this area. But so the frankincense oil, life-changing for me already. That is something that I will continue to do. And I have been telling everybody I know about that. Second thing that I have been doing that I have noticed make a huge difference for me is upping my electrolytes that I drink during the day. I also add in magnesium. So I've been more intentional with getting my magnesium. So more electrolytes, magnesium every day, and more fiber every day. That has really helped me to feel hunger more consistently, not like before I would get super starving hungry, right? And I would eat, and then I might have a day, 24 hours, where I didn't feel hungry at all. I would still eat, but I didn't really feel hungry. This has helped me to really regulate and help me just feel hunger more consistently. I have been really, this last week hasn't been stellar with the eating, but I was eating less, more often, but less overall. And truth is, feeling really good with that too. Really good with that. And so the combination of those two things, tremendous help. One thing that I have not been great at is just getting my steps in and getting some more fresh air. And the sun does me a lot of good. And I have not been getting out in the sun like I've really wanted to. That's essential for healing for me. And I have not been putting that in my schedule. Businesses have been busy, and which is great, but I need to take care of myself as well. So I need to up my steps. I need to get out in the sun some more because that's really beneficial. So those are the things, and I will get back to exercising. Another thing that I want to add in is stretching. One thing that I was doing when I was going to the gym consistently was I was stretching very consistently. And since I stopped going to the gym, I stopped stretching. And that needs to be added back in to my daily routine. Stretch in the morning, and honestly, stretch at night before bed. I think can be really beneficial to do some calming yoga poses to just move the energy through your body, right? And release it to prepare yourself for sleep. There's somebody that I follow on Facebook that talks about some exercises or stretches to do right before bed. So I'm going to start incorporating those because I know that will be really beneficial. So I will report back when I start adding some of these things in. There's some other modalities that I have thought about that I have not implemented. Breath work is really important, and some more grounding. I used to be really great at grounding when we had our house. I had my garden, I had the soil, the raw soil, the grass, and I would be in it barefoot all the time. With traveling, I've had much, much fewer opportunities to be barefoot outside in the dirt. A lot of places that we stay, there's a lot of concrete, there's a lot of asphalt, a lot of stickers, there's not a ton of grass. And I have to be intentional with finding some grass, or even raw dirt is fine. But to just get out and ground for even 5 minutes a day makes a huge difference. So that needs to be really important for me. That's another area that I'm going to look at. I'm sure there is a ton of other modalities. Tapping is a big one, visualization. There's a lot of modalities, a lot of techniques that people can use. I am not interested in doing 100 different things. I just want to do a few things that really do work for me. And for right now, the fiber, the electrolytes, the magnesium, and the frankincense, hugely beneficial. So I'm going to continue those while adding in stretching, while adding in getting into the sun, getting my steps in, and grounding. So I would absolutely love, love, love to hear your thoughts. When I share this with people, everybody's like, Sarah, I never even considered that. I never even considered. And then they start looking at their own lives and like, I bet that would help me too. I'm just a nervous wreck with anxiety. I'm not here to tell you to take medication or not take medication. You do you. But I believe that doing some of these other modalities can be extremely beneficial for helping to regulate that nervous system, your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So you're less bloated. You just feel better. You feel like you more. That's really important, to feel like me more. So share your thoughts. I would love to hear. Was this new? Was this interesting? Have you heard all this before? Have you tried it? Have you not tried it? Just share it with me. That's what this is about, is building community, helping each other out. So with that, I will look forward to hearing from you, and I will say goodbye for now, my friend. Thanks for joining me on Traveling Towards Wealth. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share this show with a fellow free spirit who's ready to design a life they love. Want to dive deeper? I'd love to connect with you. Book a free call with me to chat about your money, your dreams, and your next steps. No pressure, just a real conversation. You can find the link in the show notes or on my website. And let's stay connected on socials. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook for behind the scenes RV life, money tips, and a little gypsy spirit along the way. Remember, your money, your journey, your rules. I'll see you next Tuesday for another story and some practical steps to help you travel further towards wealth, freedom, and a life you love. Until then, keep wandering, keep growing, and keep spending on what matters most.